Hello everybody, it's Nancy News here, and today we've got a lot of break updates today. So the first news is coming from Moscow, where we've gotten footage of Vladimir Putin's meeting with the chairman of the National Assembly of Vietnam, Tran Thanh Man. So Putin told the Speaker of the Vietnamese Parliament that he expects the President of Vietnam to participate in the BRICS meeting in Kazan. That's going to be held in October. So we'll get the full results of this meeting next video. And also Putin, if you remember in last video, Russia has just started and conducted the largest naval exercises in 3 decades, Putin has stated. So the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, is taking part in the command and staff exercises of Ocean 2024. These drills are going to be taking place from September the 10th to September the 16th in the waters of the Pacific, the Arctic Oceans, the Mediterranean Sea, Caspian Sea, and the Baltic Seas. And obviously, one of the notes there, Putin does not mention the Black Sea Fleet. So there'll be no Black Sea Fleet conducting drill tests. So very interesting news. We've also gotten videos being published that Russia's already conducting live missile tests. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see Russia conducting missile tests, and we've also gotten videos of Russia's Pacific Fleet doing the exact same thing. So you can see here, we can see the missiles being shot. These naval exercises are not just only including ships, they're also including Russia's naval aviation. So the Russian government has released videos of these Su-35 jets and MiG-29s conducting training operations. So it's a very big naval exercise, and it's a force to be reckoned with. 4 Chinese warships and a support ship are also participating in the Ocean 2024 exercise. So even China is participating in this naval exercise. So very big news indeed. And the last news coming from Russia is that the embassy of Tajikistan in Moscow recommended that citizens of the Republic refrain from traveling to Russia due to the increased border controls. So Tajikistan is this country here, and it's stating to its citizens, its residents, that people should refrain from coming to Russia. Now let's head to the Sumy region. So Britain has stated the longer Ukraine holds its positions in the Kursk region, the weaker Putin's positions become. Britain also stated that Ukrainian defenses forces needed to strengthen their front line in the east and aim to hold the territory near Kursk. We've also got news that mandatory evacuations were announced in some settlements in the Sumy region around here, so this northern part of the Sumy region. So I'll keep you updated on that. Let's head to probably the biggest news coming today, is that the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the British Foreign Minister David Lammy has arrived in Kiev. So if we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see the 2 representatives of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland and the United States of America. So they get off the train, the handshake Ukrainian officials. So we've got some rumors and some announcements that we can expect the US actually lifting the restrictions of long-range missiles against Russian territory. So in short, America and Britain may lift the restrictions of American and British weapons to strike deep into Russia. So the Kremlin has already responded to this. So the Kremlin says that Moscow will respond if Kiev uses the ATACMS missiles to strike Russia. The Kremlin said on Wednesday that Russia would roll out what it's called an appropriate response if the United States allowed Ukraine to strike deep inside Russia with the long-range ATACMS missiles, a decision Moscow suspects that has already been taken. So this is a red line of Russia's. So I'll keep you updated on the situation. If you want to keep updated on the situation, please like and subscribe to keep updated on this situation. And that's not the only person who has arrived in Kiev. The president of Lithuania has also arrived in Kiev. So he said that I have just arrived in Kiev. It's great to be back and meet my dear friend Vladimir Zelensky as a show of solidarity with Ukraine's military and economic support for Ukraine is crucial for protecting its sovereignty and the territory integrity. So this was stated by the president of Lithuania on social media. So three leaders in Kiev right now that are going to be discussing with Zelensky. We've got quite a small package coming from Latvia. So Latvia will donate hundreds of computers, specialized clothing, and binoculars to Ukraine. So that's not the only thing. Latvia will also support Ukraine with energy equipment and plans to provide Ukraine with solar panels for hospitals and help the reconstruction of the Chernihiv region. So, big news. Now let's head to Hungary. So, the Hungarian foreign minister has announced that Hungary has found where to spend the EU funds instead of Ukraine. The government has initiated the allocation of 14 million euros to a so-called European Peace Fund by the European Union to develop Chad's defense capabilities. So the Chad as in the country, the African country. So Hungary plans to redirect the allocation from the European Peace Funds, the EPF, towards Chad's defences rather than supporting Ukraine's military efforts. So big news, and I'll keep you updated on that. The UK starts halting all direct air services between the UK and Iran as part of its new sanctions on Tehran for allegedly supplying Russia with missiles to use in Ukraine. London has reportedly said it was acting alongside with international partners to cancel its air services arrangements with Iran, which would restrict the Iran air ability to fly to the UK. The head of the foreign affairs of Britain, Germany, and France in the joint statement condemns Iran's supply of ballistic missiles to Russia and added that in response they would take immediate steps to cancel air traffic agreements with Iran and impose sanctions on those involved in the Iran ballistic missile program and their transfer. So Germany, Britain, France will be sanctioning Iran. Iran is still refuses that it's actually sent any missiles to Russia. Russia even refuses it too. Coming from Peskov, we talked about yesterday that he is denying that Iranian missiles have arrived in Russia. The US has imposed sanctions against a number of Russian entities and several vessels, as well as the Iranian airline Iran Air. So the Ministry of Finance has stated. So a lot of sanctions on Russia and Iran during the previous 24 hours. Let's now go to Turkey. So the US officials stated that Turkey will not join BRICS. Turkey is a reliable member. We are trying to communicate with Turkey in this matter. So even though the US officials are stating that Turkey won't join BRICS, we've got news that Erdogan, the president of Turkey, will be attending the BRICS meeting in Kazan in October. So, two conflicting reports. We've got news come from Canada that Canada fully halts arms shipments to Israel. So Canada's foreign minister has ordered a review of all contracts between Canadian arms suppliers and Israel. As a result, this is the Canadian foreign minister stating this. As a result, I suspended around 30 existing export licenses for the Canadian companies this summer. So, as a result, Canada has suspended around 30 existing export licenses for Israel, so there'll be less Canadian weapons arriving in Israel. We've got news that an Israeli pilot and a helicopter crashed in Gaza. So, an Israeli military helicopter crashed in Gaza, and it's still unknown it's still unknown if the pilot and the crew ended up surviving or not. We've gotten videos of a heavy Israeli bombardment in southern Lebanon. So if you can just hear and just see the mass of strikes of Israeli airstrikes in southern Lebanon, it's absolutely huge. I don't actually have the current location where this has been the airstrikes have been striked at, but all we know at this very moment that it was in southern Lebanon, and Israel has apparently heavily bombarded the targets of southern Lebanon. Now let's head to Iraq actually. So we've got news that Iran's new president was received on his first official state visit to Iraq by the Iraqi Prime Minister. So the Iraq president has actually visited Baghdad, where we will get meetings of their meetings. So I'll keep you and I'll give you the results next video, what comes out in this Iranian-Iraqi meeting. We've got some news coming from Saudi Arabia that Saudi Arabia reopens its embassy in Damascus, so Syria, signaling the end to a 12-year diplomatic rift. Saudi Arabia has officially reopened its embassy in Damascus, ending the 12-year diplomatic rift. So this move marks a significant step forward of restoring relations between Saudi Arabia and Syria, which was severely strained by the Syrian conflict. Now let's head to Ethiopia. So Djibouti, this African country here. So Djibouti says it's offering a port sharing deal with Ethiopia. So Djibouti said that it has offered a port sharing deal with Ethiopia, a move aimed at easing tensions between Horn of Africa rivals with Ethiopia and Somalia. So if you've been keeping up with non-sea news recently, there's been some huge statements from either side, Somalia and Ethiopia. Ethiopia said Ethiopia started moving heavy equipment to the border of Somalia and said that anyone who messes with Ethiopia will be defeated militarily. So that was a target. That was a statement to Somalia. So there's been heightening tensions in this region, and Djibouti, this country here, is trying to ease down the tensions by offering a port share agreement. We've got some news coming from India that India is eager to buy American drones. So India is set to finalize a $3.1 billion deal with the US for the MQ-9B Reaper Predator. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, this is the drone that I'm talking about. So these drones have seen a lot of action in the Middle East. So now India is looking forward to buy and make a deal with the US, buying a load of these drones. The Taliban has revealed another video of captured US weapons, so after the withdrawal of the US forces to Afghanistan. So the Taliban has released this video, and we can just see lines upon lines upon lines, row after row of American military equipment. So it's a huge military showcase. We've also got news coming from the Taliban that it's been repairing some of these US military equipment. So if we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see these images here. So apparently these were vehicles that were actually disabled and damaged, but the Taliban has managed to repair them and refurbish them. Now let's head to Taiwan. So the Taiwanese fighter jet has crashed. So a Taiwanese fighter jet crashes during night training. The pilot was found safe. So a Taiwanese Mirage 2000 fighter jet crashed during a nighttime training exercise on Tuesday, but the pilot who ejected has been found safe, according to the defense minister. So the jet lost power at around 8 p.m. and a rescue located the pilot. About 2 hours later, the pilot was conscious and transported to a military hospital. So Taiwan has lost a Mirage 2000, but luckily the pilot is safe. Now, probably again one of the biggest news today is the 2024 Kamala Harris and Donald Trump debate. So there, where do I begin? There's been a lot of statements from each side. So a lot of Ukraine, inflation, border control, everything under the book that was brought up on this. So the big news is that if you want to watch first this debate, I will probably link it down in the description below, so you're able to actually see what's in this debate. So one of the big statements Trump said is that I will just list the big statements that Trump said and Kamala Harris said. So we're going to start with Donald Trump's statements. So Donald Trump still does not acknowledge his defeat in the previous U.S. presidential election in which Biden won. He called Kamala Harris, a Marxist. She's a Marxist. This is what he said. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows that she's a Marxist. Her father is a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. The former president emphasized the high inflation rates under the Biden-Harris administration, saying that they have been a disaster for people, for the middle class, for every class. He accused the Democrats for increasing the number of illegal migrants and rising crime. So he also criticized Biden for not engaging with the Russian president. He stated that Biden has no idea how to talk to the Russian leader, Vladimir Putin. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse. Trump also stated that he said he has a good relationship with both Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and the Russian President Vladimir Putin, and he said, I will get it settled even before I become president. So big statements. Donald Trump seems very confident of his ability to end the war in Ukraine. Kamala Harris said that Kamala Harris said that Trump will give up Ukraine within 24 hours after winning the election. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kiev right now. She accused Trump of having sold America to China, leaving the country with a poor healthcare and economy in the dire state. She emphasized that the Trump administration led the highest trade deficit in U.S. history. He engaged in trade wars, and now he's talking about a deal with China. So that's the big news I've gotten from this debate. I've most likely left a lot of things out, but again, there's been some breaking news. We can see there's been a lot of accusations to Kamala Harris. So the big news is that Harris has apparently been accused of wearing headphones during the Trump debate. So if you can see here in your bottom left corner, this is coming from Johnny King on Twitter, I believe, or X. So he stated, today during the debate with Trump, Harris wore the Nova H1 audio earring, which are wireless headphones. So you can see here her earrings, and you can see the this picture here. This guy here is saying that she has cheated. She was getting people talking to her through, via headphones. The Twitter user also noted that during the debate, she constantly took notes with a pen, although it was previously clearly agreed that there should be no notes. So I'm not claiming this is true. I don't know what's happening, but I'll keep you updated. Yeah. I am Non-Seed News. I will try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.